We are entering a new era of mobility, where cars are increasingly more connected, more autonomous, and more sustainable. This revolution is already underway, and it is changing how we design, produce, and control propulsion systems. Let's take a look at what's behind this revolution. In the early days of the auto industry, one of the main goals of car makers was to make engines increasingly more powerful. This led to the creation of many legendary engines, and also saw development of many sophisticated solutions that are still in use today. With the oil crisis and dramatic increase in fuel prices in the 1970s, however, energy efficiency and better fuel economy became a priority. This new focus led to development of the Fire, one of the most successful engines in automotive history, with more than 30 million units produced in Italy, Brazil, India, and China. This engine is still used in many city cars, sedans, and sports cars today. Based on a design for manufacturing approach, in the 1980s the Fire was already produced using automated industrial processes. With each subsequent version, the search for improved efficiency drove evolutions in the product, as well as in development and production processes, and culminated with the introduction in 2006 of the turbocharged T-Jet engines, which offered an optimum balance of power output and fuel economy. During the same period, the introduction of electronics opened up an enormous range of new possibilities. The Fiat Research Center in Italy developed technologies that were to change the automotive world globally. These included electronic injection control on the common rail and multi-jet engines, and electronic valve lift control on the multi-air engines. The Firefly is the successor to the Fire engine family, and the project name, GSE, or Global Small Engine, makes its mission clear. The new Firefly family of gasoline engines was developed by FCA for use on its compact and mid-size models, including through a wide range of hybrid applications. The Firefly is a modular family of engines based on a single basic piston and cylinder design, which allows for variations in output and configuration to meet the different needs, usage conditions, and regulations in each region. The engine family's modularity enables the use of shared components and technologies to achieve a wide range of displacements and applications, while virtual design reduces both development time and the number of required physical tests. This represents an eco-friendly approach to the development and production of our vehicles. To ensure the Firefly was both sustainable and energy efficient, it was designed completely from scratch, beginning with the new aluminium engine block, which is lighter and warms up faster. The piston displacement was optimized and combined with an efficient, compact combustion chamber. The new turbo design minimizes turbo lag, while the direct injection and multi-air 3-valve control system provide highly efficient management of combustion and emissions. The Firefly was also designed for use in hybrid applications. So let's take a look at how hybrid propulsion systems are designed. While traditionally the engine was one of many components developed separately and brought together in the final assembly, today all systems need to be developed together from the very beginning of the vehicle design process. This has brought major changes in terms of skills and working methods, composition of the teams, and overall product development strategy. FCA's electrified vehicles are produced have specifically designed production lines and equipment. The integration of systems for electrified vehicles includes the propulsion system, transmission, engine regeneration systems, and low and high voltage electrical circuits. The nerve center for these integrated systems is the hybrid control processor, a control unit that ensures each subsystem operates within its zone of maximum efficiency. Electrified vehicles also have to conform to new standards for noise, electromagnetic interference, and side impact resistance. This also means there are significant differences in hardware. The application of Design 4.0 to electrified vehicles offers an extraordinary opportunity, starting from modular subsystems to develop highly specialized solutions tailored to each model. FCA's 2020 product lineup, for example, includes several hybrids which have the 3- or 4-cylinder Firefly engine in common. For the Fiat 500 and Fiat Panda city cars, where weight, size and cost are critical, the best solution was mild hybrid technology. Based on Belt Integrated Starter Generator (BSG) technology, the system makes the most of a hybrid's potential for savings by reducing fuel consumption and increasing responsiveness in urban driving conditions. Where the requirement is for high performance with the option of driving in pure electric mode, plug-in hybrid technology was the natural choice. The combination of an internal combustion engine with an electric motor provides the new Renegade and Compass PHEV with a power output of up to 240 horsepower. The gradual torque delivery offered by this combination enhances both off-road capability and on-road dynamic behavior. In addition to performance, there is also a significant environmental benefit, with emissions as low as 50 grams of CO2 per kilometre. And in full electric mode, these models are able to enter zero-emission city centres. These are just a few examples of how FCA has applied its new electrification technologies. In 2017, Chrysler launched the Pacifica Hybrid, the first plug-in hybrid minivan in the United States, which uses 2 electric drive motors on the front wheels and an automatic electrically variable transmission, EVT. In 2020, the new Fiat 500 is coming, the first fully electric FCA car. Once again, the 500, always at the forefront of great Fiat turning points, is at the center of a radical change in urban mobility. FCA's global powertrain research continues to focus on development of technologies that are transforming mobility and bringing customers more sustainable and eco-friendly vehicles and solutions that respond to their evolving needs. If an object had to be chosen that symbolizes the history of the last 100 years, it would be the automobile. Not only has it changed the way we move, but also the way we live, work, and communicate. It has become part of our collective imagination as a symbol of freedom, and it has shaped our creativity and our dreams. For us, all of this represents a rich legacy and an inspiration. FCA Heritage serves as a platform for the group to communicate and leverage the rich history of its Italian brands. Alfa Romeo, Fiat, Lancia and Abarth models represent a cultural heritage for both Italy and the world. And through their stories, told by FCA Heritage, the legend of the automobile remains alive. The Heritage Hub is where FCA Heritage recounts the saga of the automobile, and it also serves as a meeting point and service center for enthusiasts. This multifunctional space was created in the former Officina 81, located inside the Mirafiori complex near Turin, which once produced gears and drive shafts. The space has retained its industrial appeal, with the walls, floors and forest of columns restored in their original colors and materials. The hub is a 15,000 square meter, three-dimensional archive, housing around 300 historic cars, some of which are on display for the public for the first time ever. Based in the former Officina 83, not far from the Heritage Hub, are the classic workshops, where historic cars from the group's collection and also privately owned vehicles are certified, repaired and restored. The Fiat Historical Center is housed in the building where the first Fiat brand models were produced. The center has displays on all areas of activity in which the company operated over its more than 120-year history, from producing cars and trucks, trains and airplanes, to tractors and fridges, and aircraft and ship engines. The center's archives hold around 6 million images and over 200 hours of vintage footage, in addition to scale models, advertising sketches, and several priceless unique items. The Alfa Romeo Museum is located in Arese near Milan, in a renovated area of the historic Alfa Romeo headquarters. The museum hosts some of the most important models from the brand's collection. The exhibits are organized into 3 areas: Timeline, presenting the history of Alfa Romeo; Beauty, dedicated to the stylistic evolution of the brand; and Speed, which commemorates technological innovation and racing victories. FCA Heritage is an initiative that originated in the EMEA region as a global concept, and it is progressively also being integrated with the activities of the group's American brands. In the United States, the collections are kept in a location that also has a great industrial tradition: the former Conner Avenue assembly plant in Detroit, where the iconic Dodge Viper was once produced. The Conner Center collection brings together the cars that made history for the Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge and Ram brands, including concept cars and show cars, along with prestigious models from the DeSoto, Imperial, Plymouth brands. In total, the collection contains 400 fully restored vehicles, in a setting also designed for meetings and events. FCA Heritage proposes a new paradigm for the world of classic automobiles, to protect this important heritage and to support communications and other initiatives. As such, it is a reference point for the community of enthusiasts creating, disseminating and sharing the culture of the automobile. In addition to these more visible activities, FCA Heritage is behind an entire range of other activities dedicated to classic cars. The uniqueness of the FCA Heritage experience is its comprehensive array of services for fans and collectors of historic cars. The certification of origin and authenticity services rely on extensive production archives and original technical drawings. Maintenance and restoration activities also include racing models and even go as far as complete vehicle restoration, from interiors and exteriors to mechanical components. A dossier is created for every project, which includes technical documentation and photographic evidence of the work done. In collaboration with Mopar, certain spare parts have been recreated using the original molds, such as the front and rear bumpers of the Lancia Delta HF Integrale and HF Integrale Evoluzione. The same is also true for user and maintenance manuals that can no longer be found. Reloaded by creators may well be our most innovative service. FCA Heritage searches for classic cars from all over the world, brings them back to life, certifies them, and puts them back on the market in an approach similar to art museums, which often fund the acquisition and restoration of masterpieces. All these activities are now being rolled out internationally to provide fans of all FCA brands with a concrete point of reference and a methodology for certification. Access to original production records has made it possible to certify not only historic Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Lancia and Abarth cars sold in Europe, but also models located in North America and around the world. FCA Heritage also takes part in classic car events beyond Europe, including major events in the US, Australia and Japan. A cultural centre and service hub, an academy and museum, an archive and workshop, but most of all, a work in progress. FCA Heritage is all of these, brought together under an organisation whose mission is to value the past and help us imagine the future. The supply chain management function of an automaker acts as the interface between its industrial production and its commercial operations. The women and men of supply chain move the materials and semi-finished products, activate the production nodes, and distribute the cars according to customer requirements. The supply chain mission is to synchronize the entire process like the mechanism of a clock to prevent inactivity, delays, and diseconomies. But let's go behind the scenes to find out what the FCA supply chain mechanism consists of and how it works. The function's operational scope includes the entire global supplier base, all the storage centers, and over 100 FCA plants around the world. To fulfill market demand promptly and efficiently, the entire flow of incoming and outgoing materials must be planned from the earliest stages of the cycle onwards and must be fully operational as soon as production starts. Supply chain must ensure the feasibility of the objectives by balancing demand and factory capacity. It must also define volumes and allocate all the resources required by optimizing flows and inventory. It's an extremely complex system, where every link in the chain serves the previous one and supplies the next, all contributing to the end result, to turn customers' wishes into reality. To understand how all this works, let's look at a US customer who falls for an FCA model when they see it being driven round their city. All they need for their wishes to take shape is a tablet, an internet connection, and the willingness to play with the car configurator. It's super easy for them to select the features of their car, the version, the engine, the color, and the optional extras that make the car unique. All they then need to do is try out the model they've chosen at any FCA dealership around the world, where they'll be welcomed, given more information, and followed up step by step as the contract is drawn up. One click, one signature, and the adventure can begin. The demand and production planning and capacity planning functions check feasibility and give the green light to the production process, passing the baton to the plants. Based on the schedule received, iFast Container Logistics, a wholly owned subsidiary of FCA, organizes the movement of components from the suppliers to the factories, where they are processed and assembled. The integrated management of this stage guarantees a sustainable approach, including the reuse of containers, waste disposal, and the optimization of all factors in transportation. Once the car has been manufactured, the baton is passed back to supply chain so it can be delivered to dealerships in various countries. The vehicle distribution function organizes the transportation via another wholly owned subsidiary of FCA, iFast Automotive Logistics. To take the cars from storage areas to ports or their final destinations, they utilize state-of-the-art natural gas-fired car carrier trailers, the green, sustainable evolution of road transportation. Cars are shipped overseas according to the contract signed by the logistics service contracting function with various shipping companies. Around 60% of inbound and outbound movements are made by sea or rail, which significantly limits the environmental impact of the logistics process. Organizational innovation is also taking place in the name of sustainability. The adoption of new methodologies to optimize transportation of materials led to an offset of over 1,500 tons of CO2 in 1 year. In the meantime, the streamlining of road transportation by using low-emission car carrier trailers and other changes to movements by sea and rail reduced CO2 emissions by another 2,700 tons. All this is aimed at the customer returning to the dealership to find their car ready and waiting for them. Supply chain oversees this global process, making sure the right product gets to the right place at the right time. It does this in an innovative, flexible and sustainable way, resulting in benefits for the customer, for the production system and for the environment. The world is changing. In fact, it already has. We've heard it so many times. So many generations have been sure they're experiencing real change. The dynamics are the same in the automotive world too. The issues the first motorists had were very different from those experienced by drivers today.
C'era poesia e stile nella febbre meccanica di fine Ottocento. Hai una piccola panna. I capricci delle prime automobili si chiamavano così, pan, e conferivano ai viaggi un delizioso sapore di avventura, purché non durassero troppo, ben inteso.
Ci vuole molto?
No, solo un momentino. Durò 2 ore quel momentino.
Advertising was different from the form we're familiar with now. We used to ask, what's the difference between leaded and unleaded petrol? The questions we now ask have changed, as has the way we look for the answers. This is a digital, virtual and electric era.
La 500 viene realizzata anche nella versione a trazione elettrica, una tappa importante. È la prima volta che un costruttore presenta un nuovo modello in prima mondiale anche con propulsione elettrica. La 500 Elettra ha un cambio a 5 marce ed è alimentata da 12 batterie. La ricarica con l'alimentazione domestica è di 8 ore.
Surprised? Back in 1991, an electric 500 was already on the market, although a profoundly different one from today's. The constant quest for products with lower CO2 emissions now features hybrid and electric models. Indeed, FCA's electrification strategy is coming to market right now. Finally, the future is here. Let's clear things up a little by answering a few frequently asked questions. What is a hybrid car? Hybrid cars use electricity as the energy source for an auxiliary motor to complement the internal combustion engine running on petrol or diesel. There are several types of hybrids. Mild hybrids, with an electric motor that doesn't propel the wheels but helps the conventional engine to work more efficiently. Examples include the Panda, the 500 and the Ypsilon, all sharing the name hybrid. Then come full hybrids and plug-in hybrids, equipped with a conventional internal combustion engine and batteries that can be charged directly from a power outlet, meaning the car can run dozens of kilometers on the electric motor alone. The Jeep Compass and Renegade 4xe are the perfect examples of plug-in hybrid cars, a technology capable of positively impacting even Jeep's legendary off-road capabilities, courtesy of the higher torque provided by the electric motor. Now it's time to look at electric cars. How do they work? The electric motor uses the energy supplied by the battery, converting it to the mechanical energy needed to propel the car. The electrical energy stored in the battery is transferred to the electric motor by an inverter. This device converts the direct current DC from the reservoir to alternating current AC and transmits it to the motor. When the accelerator is released or when braking, the electric motor acts as a generator and charges the battery. The new Fiat 500 works the same way too, guaranteeing a carefree drive with great performance and a range of hundreds of kilometers. How are electric cars developed? New challenges must be faced when developing an electric car. As well as reliability of the components, there are new aspects to focus on. For example, the durability and effectiveness of the batteries, tested in extreme conditions to ensure optimum resistance in any situation. There's also the acoustics, not the sound of the motor and engine, instead how noise-free the passenger compartment is and the acoustic safety alerts. Just as essential are crash tests, where new electric car components, including the electric motor and battery pack, are required to demonstrate optimum resilience. Do electric cars require much maintenance? Conventional engines consist of hundreds of components. If these are not assembled perfectly and maintained in the best possible conditions, they can fail over time. An electric motor has far fewer components. Logically, this equates to a lower risk of mishaps and breakdowns, meaning electric cars need less frequent maintenance while remaining highly reliable, even in the long term. How is an electric car charged? Electric cars can be charged from a variety of sockets, for use at home, such as FCA's Easy Wall Box, or for public charging, like the fast charge points available around the country. The time it takes to fully charge the car depends on the output the source can deliver, which goes from 2.2 to over 100 kilowatts on DC or AC. What is the range of an electric car? The numbers of kilometers an electric car can travel depends on the energy storage capacity of the batteries and the way the car is used. For example, the new Fiat 500 has a range of up to 320 kilometers in the combined cycle, even more in the urban cycle. But new models alone are not enough. Through its e-mobility division, FCA is therefore designing a true ecosystem of support services for hybrid and electric cars. It includes the plants where our hybrid and electric cars are built, as well as FCA dealerships across Europe, with a total of 3,600 charge points already present or waiting to be installed. There's also our agreements with various partners, whereby the power grid will be able to deal with new demand for electricity, partly using vehicle-to-grid infrastructure. Last but not least, 150,000 square meters of solar panels are due to be installed at the Mirafiori plant to produce 15 megawatts of power and contribute to reducing carbon dioxide emissions by over 5,000 tons. New steps towards electrification, steps whereby FCA can immediately measure up to the new challenges of offering more innovative, effective and advantageous solutions for the planet, for cities and for the customers of the future.